Calgary. Not a cloud in the sky as we kick off week 2 in the Canadian Football League. Welcome to McMahon Stadium, where both the Stampeders and Lions look to bounce back after week 1 losses. Calgary letting one slip away, and the comeback of the Lions falling short against the Riders.
Well, part of that comeback sparked by Michael Riley, who came off the bench in the second half after being a game-time decision last week. He's going to be a game-time decision starting this week, making his first start of the season. Bo Levi Mitchell in the 99th start of his Canadian Football League career. You heard Kate mention it earlier. He has never gone 0-2 to start a season. So a big one for him here and his Calgary Stampeders this evening.
Dave Dickinson, now in his 5th year here with the Calgary Stampeders. He is 4-0 in game 2 after losing a season opener, so keep that in mind tonight. And there's Rick Campbell, still fresh in his career with the BC Lions. He's actually lost 12 straight dating back to the end of his career in Ottawa, so he's looking for a win here tonight. BC Lions, tale of 2 games last week. Great comeback, falls short. This will be kicked off and out of bounds. A flag here early as Paredes, not the ideal start there.
Bounds. Calgary number 30. BC will elect to play to get the football at the 45-yard line and a first down.
Well, this will set up Michael Riley and the BC Lions with pretty good field position to start their opening drive. Looked like Paredes was trying to drop that into a dead spot in terms of the Lions return team and get down and perhaps recover it themselves. You saw Riley's numbers, 17 of 24 last week. He did not start, did not play until the 3rd quarter of that ball game.
We watched him in warm-up. He was trying a few deep balls. We'll see how it works out for Michael Riley here as we are underway at McMahon. He'll be throwing on first down. That's to Butler out of the backfield. And he'll lunge ahead for a couple of extra large. Let's take a look at the BC starting offense. Tonight's lineup's brought to you by Expedia.
Along that offensive line, Ken Perkins gets the start at right tackle in for Riker Matthews. So he makes his first career CFL start. We'll keep an eye on him on the edge of these protection schemes for the BC Lions.
Butler, who had that first catch of the football game, targeted 6 times last week, caught 4 of them, and had a touchdown in the air as well. Here's Riley, 2nd and 7 on his own 48. Has some time. Now he's going to take off, but he's tracked down from behind by Derek Wigan early in the ball game.
Good start for the Stampeders defensively to get that 2 and out. Remember the long drive Toronto had out of the gate against them last week. Sean Lemon makes his 2nd consecutive start. Brandon Dozier in at the nickel linebacker spot for an injured Jamar Wall this week. Little shuffle in the secondary as the former Ticat Richard Leonard makes his Calgary Stampeder debut at field half.
Nice start for this Calgary defense. That kick will come down at the 21. It is bobbled. And then immediately wrapped up on the return there, Malik Henry getting into the game. And a look at Bo Levi Mitchell. 23 of 35 last week, 252 yards. Late interception. What did you think of Bo last week?
Yeah, you know what? Bo and the Calgary Stampeders offense looked pretty good until they got in that red zone. Some troubles from the 20-yard line in last week. I think 1 for 5. And that proved to be the difference in a game that they ultimately lost by 3 points to the Toronto Argonauts.
Stampeders will start on their own 24. A couple minutes gone here. Dustin Nielsen and Dwayne Ford with you at McMahon in Calgary. 3 receivers to the left for Mitchell. He's got a ton of time. Now a little bit of pressure. Dumps it off into no man's land. And we'll take a look here at the Stampeders starting offense.
Yeah, along that offensive line, we're actually going to see Zach Williams in at the guard spot, University of Manitoba product. Saw a lot of action last week, but gets the start this time around in the receiving corps. Kamar Jordan was their top receiver a week ago, had a touchdown, and a 2nd one called back. Dangerous guy, Bo's go-to man.
2nd and 10, Mitchell over the middle, and that will be complete, and it is enough for a first down for Marquis Dambles.
Good protection here for Mitchell. You see he's got all sorts of time working against a 3-man rush. That allows the route to develop as Ambles a little bit of room across the middle to settle down.
First completion of the ball game goes for 14 yards for Bo Levi Mitchell. They'll work from their own 38 now. This time he'll hand it off to Kadeem Carey, and Carey upended at the 40. We'll take a look here at the BC Lions starting defense.
Yeah, 3 first-year CFLers along that defensive line. J.R. Tavai, who comes over from Ottawa, the one veteran, couple Canadians, of course, starting in the linebacking core, including 2020 #1 overall pick Jordan Williams in the middle. In that secondary, we'll keep an eye on the man in the middle. Marcus Sales coming over from Winnipeg in free agency. He moves from halfback, where he traditionally played in Winnipeg, to the free safety spot here with the Lions.
Just a couple of yards on first down there for Carey. Now Bo on the near side. Ambles again defended well and batted down there by Keontae Harden.
Yeah, terrific coverage by Harden on that play. Ambles has a step on him, you'll see on the break. Watch the close here as the ball is in the air. Slow motion, maybe a touch early, but
slow motion's going to do that to you, though, right?
Exactly. As we've said before, if the game were truly officiated in slow motion, it would be pretty tough to play DB.
Couple of targets for Ambles, one of them completed. And discussion on the Calgary sideline.
Is challenging the ruling in the field to believe there was pass interference on the receiver, number 17. The play will be reviewed.
Calgary saw it in slow-mo too, maybe, Dwayne.
I think so. We're about to see the game officiated in slow motion, right?
What are your thoughts on using a challenge this early in a ball game like this?
Well, I think that what's going through Dave Dickinson's mind, he's got to feel pretty confident that that the call's going to go his way. But he wants to get off to a good start and wants to establish some momentum early, and I think that's where you see him taking this gamble at this point in the ball game, where a lot of people would look and say, you know, it's pretty innocuous, not really a meaningful time in the game to use that challenge.
Pretty good job by Ambles to even get his hands on it as he was being pushed, turning his body mid-air here. Very athletic play to even take a crack at that thing, and he almost got it.
We'll take a look at this at game speed, get a little better sense of how early Harden was in. And I think the Stampeders are going to have a decent case here.
We've got a lot of good looks at it, and you're right, he is there just before the ball arrives. This would keep the Calgary offense on the field.
The Stampeders started their game last week with a 2-and-out. Toronto followed that up with a long drive. But then the rest of the game, Calgary Stampeders actually dominated in terms of time of possession. Once again, did a good job moving the football, but just bogging down when they got into scoring positions. Saw a little too much of Rene Paredes kicking field goals for the liking of head coach Dave Dickinson.
It was a weird week last week because a lot of the teams who actually had the advantage in time of possession ended up coming away with a loss last week. So we'll see how that plays out here.
After review, pass interference, BC number 37. The ball will be placed on the 52-yard line, and Calgary still has a challenge.
The challenge successful for Dave Dickinson, and that means his offense will stay on the field with a fresh set of downs. That ball will be moved up to the 52, and we'll see what they can make of it here early in this ball game.
Yeah, once again, the goal for Dave Dickinson, quite simply, generate some momentum, keep that BC defense on the field, and Michael Riley off of it.
12 yards on the penalty there against Harden, who had 5 tackles last week. 3 receivers now, 1 in motion. That's Ambles. They'll hand it off to Carey, and a pretty decent hole will get him from the 52 up to midfield. 3-yard gain for Kadeem Carey.
No big gains for Carey in particular last week, but I thought that he and the Calgary Stampeders did a nice job running the football, particularly early in the game.
His long last week was 14. Comes into this week 3rd in the Canadian Football League in rushing. And here's Calgary, the home side, smack dab at midfield. But pressure coming this time from that Lions D, and that one broken up very neatly by TJ Lee as Bo Levi Mitchell tried to gun it in there.
Well, TJ Lee is one of the veterans that they're going to lean on in that BC Lions secondary. He and Bo Levi Mitchell may have those Eastern Washington roots in common, but he not going to do his old quarterback any favors.
Mitchell was looking for Josh Huff. A little bit banged up last week, but good to go here. And now Grace will kick this away. Hangs up there. It's going to bounce at the 27. And a flag will fly as Rainey picks that one up. We are scoreless here in the first quarter at McMahon. Down to Claire Hanna with a special guest.
Thank you, Dustin. And just before the game, we saw 21 of Canada's Olympic athletes from Tokyo recognized, including Rebecca Smith, a silver gold medalist. And Rebecca, in Tokyo, you didn't get any fans there. So what was it like to get welcomed and this huge ovation from people in Calgary?
Yeah, so cool. I mean, I haven't seen this many people in one place for so long. So yeah, so amazing to see everyone here and just amazing to walk out with my teammates.
Now, 2 weeks ago, you won that silver medal in the 4x100 freestyle. When you reflect on that, what do you remember?
Yeah, so that was an amazing race. I mean, I couldn't have done it with those 3 other girls. So yeah, we just walked out on that pool deck and swam our hearts out. And when we saw that number 2 beside our name on the board, we just went crazy and it was so fun.
And you're only 21 years old. You're from Red Deer. What's the future hold for you in swimming?
Yeah, so in the fall, I'll be swimming on the UFC swim team, and I'll also be going to school, so I'm excited to be back in Alberta.
Well, thank you so much, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations to all of our Olympians. Great to see them all here tonight. It's funny, Claire asked about what it was like, because you're right, no fans over there, and an opportunity here to be greeted by thousands in Calgary.
And a great welcome from the fans here at McMahon Stadium tonight for those Olympians.
There's a first down to Shaq Johnson. Now here's Riley. He'll hand it off, but nowhere to go. James Butler wrapped up in a hurry by Mike Rose.
This was Michael Riley a week ago against the Saskatchewan Roughriders, battling that arm injury and at times having trouble really kind of getting a good feel for the football. You see it hanging up there, not able to get the distance or the accuracy that he wanted. Riley made the decision both before the game when he wasn't feeling great and at a certain point along the way once he came in that second half, felt he wasn't the best option, took himself out of the game to avoid hurting the team.
Now over the middle, he's got a man wide open. That's Lucky Whitehead over midfield, and Riley did tell us that this isn't an injury that rest is going to help. He almost needs to keep that arm working, and a nice start there, and a good drive here so far from Michael Riley.
Yeah, and Riley finding a guy who was his favorite receiver, at least he and Nathan Rourke's combined favorite receiver in week 1. Lucky Whitehead came over from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in free agency, adding a little injection of speed and explosiveness to that Lions receiving core this season.
136 yards last week for that man. Lucky Whitehead tops in the Canadian Football League. Burnham, I think, was 5th as well. Despite the quarterback situation last week, almost 400 yards passing for this BC offense. Now here's Riley. Thought about a shot. A ton of time for Michael Riley. Coming back to the ball is his veteran receiver, Burnham, for a first down at the Calgary 32.
And a ball thrown with a little bit of zip from Riley in that instance as well. We'll certainly keep an eye on that. All sorts of time. Calgary's going with a 3-man rush, so you've got 5-on-3 in that blocking scheme, which allows Riley time, allows Burnham time to scramble to an open spot.
May not matter the condition of that arm if he's going to get that much time here this evening. Now with 4 receivers to his left, Riley dumps it off quickly to Lamar Durant. Durant on his feet, pushing ahead. That's another BC Lions first down to the 20. 12-yard pickup.
Well, you're going to see the rest of the receiving core doing a nice job. Durant is the guy coming out of the backfield and is going to slip out to the flat. You've got Burnham, Whitehead out front, forming that convoy. helping each other out when they don't have the football.
Best drive of the opening quarter here is for the visitors. 1st and 10 from the Calgary 20. Riley steps up, nice footwork in the pocket. Now he's going to keep it. Here goes Riley, a little slide for a pickup of about 6 on 1st down with 6.5 minutes left in the quarter.
Take a look once again at this Calgary rush, not necessarily sending a lot of heat after Riley. Once again, it's 3-man dropping off 9 defenders. With everybody covered up, Riley makes the best decision he can, which is to...
That's one thing that he's always able to do, is make plays with his legs. He did that there. 7th play of this drive for BC. Butler stands into the left of his quarterback. Riley. End zone! Over the head of Burnham. He got one hand on it, not enough.
Yeah, it's funny with the standard that Brian Burnham has set. You kind of expect him to come down with that one. Incredibly tough catch, but with the highlight reel he's put together over the course of his CFL career, not out of the question, but this one's a high, hard-thrown football.
Got a hand on it, an opportunity here for Takeru Yamasaki. 2 of 4 last week at a long of 43. This one from just outside 21. And did he miss that? It looks like he fired it wide, as Yamasaki now 2 for 5 on the season. Burnham got a hand on it, couldn't haul that one in. Riley knows he missed one. We're scoreless. Lions do lead 1-0 after the miss by Yamasaki here from just outside the 20. There's a look at it. Seemed to have a weird trajectory from the moment it left his foot, and there he is. A little self-punishment there, a few push-ups on the sidelines.
Yeah, it came out very low trajectory right away, and obviously hooked it.
Calgary will take it. It was a nice drive for the Lions. Marched that ball down the field, had to settle for 1 when it was all said and done. Oh, what a catch there. Almost into triple coverage by Herji Mayala.
The Bermuda Triangle of coverage was closing in on Mayala here, but fearlessly he goes up in traffic to make this grab for a Stampeder 1st down.
14-yard pickup for the 8th overall pick in the 2019 draft. 3 receivers to the wide side of the field here for Bo Levi Mitchell. He's going to look that way as well. This one up for grabs. That's complete inside the 30 to Richie Sindani.
Stampeders opening things up a little bit here. Quick read. You see how quickly Mitchell gets rid of the football. Sindani's just going straight down the hash mark. Little bump on the receipt on the defender. Harden to create a little bit of separation as the ball's in the air. Big grab, big play.
35 yards for Sindani, and the Stampeders are in business here. Now they'll hand it off up and over top down towards the 15. Nice carry there from Kadeem Carey. Almost enough for a fresh set of downs.
It's going to look at the push of the offensive line here. Created a nice gash right at the line of scrimmage.
Calgary certainly not wasting any time moving this ball down the field here. Mitchell goes to hand off. That's a pretty good effort from this Lions defensive front.
Second and under a yard. Looked like a gimme, but the Lions surging across the line of scrimmage there.
What a job there by that BC defense, which will bring up 3rd down here for Calgary.
And will be reminded that this is where the Stampeders offense bogged down a number of times against the Toronto Argonauts in week 1. No problem moving it to inside the 20, but it's a matter of finishing drives. So this is a big third down conversion for them.
O'Connor in the game, he'll push ahead, and that's really all they needed last time. This time they got that forward push, and we'll see if it's enough. 5 trips to the red zone last week for Calgary, resulting in just the 1 touchdown. Last thing they want here is this drive to stall as well. O'Connor's a big guy, 6'5", 223 pounds. Was it enough to push through there for the first down? Well, that spot is going to be mighty close.
Here comes the measurement.
This would be an incredible stop by the BC Lions defense, considering Calgary took 2 cracks at it. Didn't even need a full yard.
Yeah, looked like inches on the first play. The second down play.
That is just short. Huge defensive stand by the Lions here in the first quarter. They maintain a 1-0 lead on the road. Nowhere to go for O'Connor. Welcome back to McMahon Stadium, everyone. A look at both head coaches. They've seen their teams actually put together some drives, but kind of come away empty. And there's another good look at that stop against O'Connor.
Yeah, that BC defensive line holding their ground. Rookie middle linebacker Jordan Williams, #1 overall pick in 2020, making his presence felt on that play.
Now they start just inside their own 15, and that one handed off to Rainey, and he's tracked down from behind at the 30. Is Chris Rainey getting involved in the offense here? 15-yard pickup.
We'll see how much they use Rainey out of that backfield, maybe as a little bit of a change of pace, working in tandem with first-year man James Butler. Stampeders did well not to let one of the CFL's fastest men get into the open field on that one.
Riley got the start here today. He's 5 of 6 for 66 yards, the long being a 21-yard shot downfield. Now he's going to roll to his right. Here's Riley waiting. Couple of reads. Now he's going to take a shot deep down the field. Burnham got it! Burnham holds it in just inside the 20. If there is any doubt about the arm of Michael Riley, she's gone.
Yeah, what a difference a week makes for Michael Riley on this throw. The full sprint protection, the 2 backs. Mackey and Rainey doing a nice job to secure the edge. Riley stands in to take the hit. And who else on the other end but Brian Burnham.
Working there against Raheem Wilson. It's a pickup of 61 for this offense. They've been here before. Earlier in the quarter, had to settle for a missed field goal from Yamasaki. You know, Riley wants to change that story this time around. He's still got Rainey standing in there to his left. Lucky Whitehead swoops in behind his quarterback. Now Riley over the middle. And that one a little dangerous, looking for Johnson, and it's batted away harmlessly.
Yeah, a lot of traffic there. The protection scheme, the whole offensive line was slid to their right. Riley went the other way in a little bit of a misdirection, but the Stampeders weren't fooled by the play. Great coverage, making that a very tough throw.
I'd like to welcome everybody from TSN4 joining us here in Calgary. Justin Nielsen and Dwayne Ford with you, and the BC Lions on the strength of Michael Riley knocking on the door here. 2nd and 10 from the Calgary 18. Riley, Whitehead, and he's going to be stopped in his tracks at about the 13-yard line of the Calgary Stampeders. And an opportunity here to put 3 more on the board and some redemption for Yamasaki.
Looking to get himself back up to 500 on the season.
2-5 start to his young Canadian Football League career. This one almost identical to the one that he missed just minutes ago from the 20. This one is up, and that one is through. The BC Lions, at the end of the first quarter, have a 4-0 lead on the road against the Calgary Stampeders. Yamasaki with the miss earlier puts this one home in front of a pretty good crowd here at McMahon Stadium. Olympics watching on. And it is BC with a lead on the road. Here at McMahon in Calgary, and it is the visitors, the BC Lions, with a 4-0 lead on the Stampeders. 132 yards passing for the BC Lions, and that's not with Nathan Rourke at quarterback. It's with Michael Riley, who ended up getting the start, and man, he looks very good so far here tonight.
Yeah, I think maybe more important than any of the actual numbers that are there is how the BC Lions put up those numbers in the passing game. Michael Riley with a few footballs there that look pretty darn good, that make you think that a week has made a huge difference in terms of his recovery, throwing the ball deep with accuracy and with some zip on some of his shorter balls.
The long was 61 in that first quarter for Riley. Whatever the treatment was that he did this week on the arm appears to be working thus far. Yamasaki will kick it away. And that is once again taken by Malik Henry. And Henry will move it up just over his own 30, and that is where Bo Levi Mitchell, after a 27-yard return, will step back onto the field looking to answer that last drive by the Lions.
And historically, Bo Levi Mitchell has enjoyed great success against these BC Lions, 750 winning percentage, completing 60% of his passes, but again, the touchdown to interception ratio very one-sided in the veteran quarterback's favor.
Head-to-head against Michael Riley. He has an 8-win, 4-loss record in the 12 head-to-head meetings, but if you actually look at the meetings, Riley's numbers are a little bit better, but those come away with the win 8 of the 12 times. Now he's got a completion again. That's at midfield. Excellent move, and eventually taken down. Kamar Jordan, who had a big week last week and is going to become one of the most reliable options here for Mitchell.
Yeah, I mean, we talk a lot coming into this game upon learning that Riley would be the starter about that historical matchup between these two quarterbacks, two of the faces of the Canadian Football League. But this is a pretty dynamic receiver matchup when you look at Kamar Jordan, Brian Burnham, and we've seen each of those guys with a pretty big play here in the early going.
Last week, Jordan targeted 5 times, caught all 5 of them. Now they'll dump it underneath for Herky Mayala. Mayala makes one man miss and lunge ahead to about the BC 40.
Kamar Jordan. Last week, Mitchell's leading receiver, 5 catches, 85 yards. Had 1 touchdown, had another touchdown called back as there was offensive pass interference that actually didn't get him open on the play, nonetheless.
A little bit of pressure up the middle. Mitchell gets it away, and that is over the head of the intended target. Once again, Kamar Jordan.
Yeah, credit the BC Lions pass rush there, forcing Mitchell to get rid of that ball just a half second early. So Jordan wasn't able to get the necessary depth before the ball was en route.
So it'll be a 48-yard attempt here for Paredes. Last week, perfect, 4 of 4. This one will be by far his longest of the season. Right hash, 48, Paredes! That is good. And Calgary is on the board after a drive stalls. Paredes, 5 for 5 on the year. 4-3, BC leads. This coverage continues tomorrow with Friday Night Football presented by The Brick, featuring the Argos taking on the Blue Bombers. Catch the action at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific only on TSN. We are just getting started here in week 2. A cute little baby. Up past bedtime, I would think. Here's Riley. wide open. Lucky Whitehead at the 45, now the 40. Tracked down from behind, stays on his feet and eventually stumbles to the 32. 43-yard pickup for Whitehead. Riley starts to creep up towards 200 here early in the second.
Missed opportunity for the Calgary Stampeders to wrap Michael Riley up in the Lions' backfield. Does a nice job stepping up, finding Whitehead to advance into Stampeder territory. Once again, you see Riley not showing any hesitation to throw that football deep.
That's 3 catches so far here for Whitehead for 68 yards. You tack that on to what he did last week, and he's the first receiver in the league this year to get to that 200-yard mark on the season. And there's a good look at what happened to Hunter Stewart there in the back. He's just to his feet now. And gingerly blocking off.
A veteran left guard got tangled up with his center, Peter Godber, on that one.
7-year guy, 6th overall pick way back in 2013. And it looks like David Neville out of Nebraska will slide in here. 6'8", 6'8".
Yeah, when you're towering above the rest of your offensive line.
When you make them look small, you know you got some size there. So he's gonna slide in there. Left of his center, Peter Godber. From the Calgary 32 for Riley. 3 targets to his right. This time they're gonna hand it off to Butler. And he is wrapped up immediately and hammered down to the turf.
Look at Michael Riley's body of work thus far tonight. And I think everybody's familiar with the story. Riley did not start in week 1, having some trouble with that throwing arm. Came off the bench and played part of the second half. A game-time decision once again here tonight. Felt good enough to go and has looked sharp.
A few adjustments here on 7 to 10. He's 8 for 175 so far, and that one hammered in there, and once again into the belly of Lucky Whitehead for a first down at the 20.
I wonder if there may have been a little bit of communication issue among receivers here. Whitehead right on the hash marks. Watch how close the receivers end up to being in the same territory as Burnham sort of started to turn out to that football. Almost ended up in the throwing lane to Whitehead.
3rd trip to the red zone here for the Lions. Had to settle for a couple of field goal attempts thus far. Butler trying to kick it to the outside, a little bit of a high step. Stays on his feet, lunging out of bounds. Just inside the 10, I think they're gonna give him the 9. And they creep closer here. First down to the 9.
And BC lined up with just a single receiver, Brian Burnham, to the wide side of the field, so formation was a little bit heavy towards the boundary, trying to give Butler a lot of open field to run to. Very nearly got that corner.
First and goal from the Calgary 9 here for Michael Riley and the Lions offense. Back to Butler. Butler up the middle, being pushed from behind, lunging towards the end zone, and coming up just shy of 6.
No surprises with the play call as you see BC lined up in double tight here. Got a good push on that right side. Butler just hits it.
Riley up behind the big line, pushing ahead, and Michael Riley is in for the touchdown. BC Lions add to their lead. And Burnham in the face of moxie right there as well, as Riley's been so good with that arm so far here this evening, and that time he just keeps it, pushes ahead for the touchdown and the 10-3 lead.
A good drive for the BC Lions culminates with the quarterback sneak. See Brian Burnham just taking a little exception, as one would expect when your quarterback's getting the business in the pile.
10-3, BC leading. Riley's now at 188 yards. And then that touchdown. And for a guy that was limited all week in practice, just put together a 75-yard drive and finishes in a touchdown. Now for two here. It's Whitehead back in underneath, back to Butler, right up the gut, and he is going to be second effort, pretty solid. Where is he? Riley says he's in. They're going to say no, he wasn't. Kind of went all the way around the pile there, Dwayne.
You called it, though. Initially looked like he was stopped, but then kind of bounced off, and his momentum kept him moving towards that goal line.
Ruling on the field is the ball carrier did not get into the end zone.
Looked like they had him right there. And then he pushed ahead.
Trying to reach.
Looks like Whitehead was going to grab the ball from him. That's pretty close when he reached out there, though. I mean, from the angle we had, here's a...
Yeah, look right down the line. Yeah, it depends when the whistle went.
Well, that's what that comes down to, right? That comes directly down to when that whistle went, because the ball did eventually get there. We'll take maybe get another look at it there, but Michael Riley staked his team to a lead. 10-3 right now, finished by this push ahead by that BC offense. They are on top. Back to work there for Michael Riley with Rourke looking over his shoulder. A successful drive that does actually end in a two-point conversion. They reviewed it, they looked at it, and determined that that ball did get to the goal line, which does make it a 12-3 football game here in favor of the BC Lions. It looks like he got there, right? When we saw that replay.
Yeah, that ball broke the plane.
Oh, a high tackle at the 30 on
like
Malik Henry. Yeah. Henry bounces right back up, but immediate flag out near midfield. Get another look at that one. You're right, Dwayne. That was looked like the definition of a clothesline.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness. BC number 25, 15-yard penalty enforced from the end of the run, and a first down Calgary.
O'Shane Samuels, the guilty party here.
And there you saw the grab at the top of the face mask. And so often, quite honestly, it's not an intentional thing, but a reaction. You know, I would compare it to sometimes when you see a knee-on-knee hit in hockey, it's just a natural reaction to try and get something in front of the guy. In football, the guy is right there. You're just trying to grab a piece of him.
Moves that ball up to the Calgary 47. Carey churning his legs, working up to midfield. And a nice pickup of 8 yards on first down for Kadeem Carey.
Again, Carey had a pretty good week one overall. Just a couple of errors that struck him in the second half of that ball game, where he had a stretch with a turnover and picked up a penalty, a dead ball foul at the end of a play. Things that hurt Stampeder drives in that second half at a time when they really needed to keep things going. But in terms of his performance, he's been solid out of the gate here in 2021.
Back to Carey again and hangs on. I think that second effort is going to be darn close to a first down there. Bo Levi Mitchell so far 5 of 8 for 100 yards, right on the nose. They're going to measure this. Kadeem Carey, 28 years old, out of Arizona. Last season, 3 touchdowns total, 2 of them on the ground, but really a guy they like to build this running game around. They're confident in Kadeem Carey.
Yeah, you think about how it's been kind of running back by committee in recent years for the Calgary Stampeders. Don Jackson was here, Terry Williams here, part of that backfield. Obviously feeling confident enough in Carey that those 2 guys had moved on in free agency. Ante Milanovic-Litre sort of spelling him from time to time, getting his reps, keeping Carey fresh as well. Now forming that backfield tandem.
Fresh set of downs here now for the Stampeders. Just 3 points thus far for Bo Levi Mitchell and his offense. 3 receivers to his left. Takes a quick glance over there as he gets the ball. He's going to be pressured, nowhere to go. Spins out of it, but stumbles on the way. And eventually is down Lecombo there for good measure at the end of it. But a little bit of pressure, and Bo Levi trying to find some clean space and stumbled on the way out of it.
Yeah, you can see it looked like he had an escape lane around that right edge once he spun out. Good instincts, but just blew a tire trying to turn the corner there.
It's a loss of 7 yards, and now they're set up in 2nd and long situation. Oh, Levi Mitchell, a little frustrated there. He's got 4 receivers over to his right. He's going to look over the middle. Ambles hammers, but he's got it at the 35. Big first half for Markeith Ambles.
I love everything about this play, the fearlessness of Markeith Ambles going up to get this football, knowing he's going to get whacked. Couple of black and orange defenders converging.
Carey lunging ahead. Flag at the end of that play does fly. 26-yard pickup on the previous catch by Markeith Ambles. We'll get the call on this one.
Holding, Calgary, 88, 10-yard penalty. We're going to replay first down.
Kamar Jordan, the guilty party on the hold. That's going to back things up. We'll play first down again, but once again, Ambles on this rocket from Bo Levi got popped by Marcus Sales.
Nonetheless, securing the football. Laser focus there from Ambles as that ball is en route despite the closing defender.
1st and 20 from the Lions 44. Some pressure coming. That one dumped off, but dropped by Ambles as he's popped by Jordan Williams at the end of the play, and that'll bring up 2nd down here for Mitchell and the Stamps.
Well, so much for that laser focus I was talking about.
You jinxed them.
Yeah.
That's one that he's gonna want back for sure.
Yeah, no doubt.
Ambles, 407 yards last year as a part of this offense. Had 4 touchdowns back in 2018. 4 receivers to the left for Mitchell. Needs 20 yards for a first down. A little bit of pressure again. This time they got to him, and they will wrap him up. Obum Gwachum able to get there. First sack of his career.
And a big one, as that's going to take the Calgary Stampeders out of the range of Paredes. Watch coming from the top of the screen as Gwachum rip move to the inside to beat Ukembre Williams and get to Bo Levi Mitchell.
Gwachum, a big body, 6'5" out of Oregon State. This will come down to Rainey in traffic, takes it at the 16, no yards, flag for sure on that one. BC Lions with a 12-3 lead, something to be happy about on the road, no doubt about it. Bo Levi Mitchell, on the other hand, not pleased in the first half. Coverage of the Women's World Hockey Championship gets underway August 20th in Calgary, Alberta. Team Canada taking on Finland. The puck drops next Friday at 6 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Pacific, only on TSN. There's Gwachum. He's in the XFL back in 2020. Had some time in the AAF and was around the Saints and the Jets a little bit from 2015 to 17. So he's been on a little bit of a journey before that first Canadian Football League sack just a few moments ago. Dustin Nielsen, Dwayne Ford with you. Here's Riley, nice shot for him. He's got Burnham, and Burnham's got a little bit of space. Burnham will take it up to the 50, and he's eventually taken down at the 42-yard line. Darnell Sankey in the mix there.
Sometimes you just want to get the ball into the hands of your playmakers and let them do their thing. That's this variation of the bubble screen to Brian Burnham. Quick hitter. Get him the ball in a little bit of space and let Burnham go to work.
Burnham over 100 yards already here in this first half. Michael Riley over 2. He's in trouble this time. Stays on his feet, but then trips over one of his own linemen. Looks like his center was down behind him. And a credit there to Mike Rose on the play.
It looked like Riley had thoughts of throwing that one on his way down to avoid the sack. We'll keep an eye here on Mike Rose, a guy who's really established himself through that 2019 season as one of the top defensive tackles in the Canadian Football League. Had been around for a couple of years, didn't really get much playing time, but I remember Cordero Law, former Stampeder, suggesting this guy was on his way to becoming an all-star.
Had 5 sacks last season. This is complete. And will be taken out of bounds. Shaq Johnson was targeted 4 times last week. Didn't have a catch. Had one earlier in this game, I do believe. Yeah, that's his second of the game. But it will bring up 3rd down here. Jake Ford, first overall pick in the global draft, will come out to kick this thing away. That's it fly from his 41. That's taken at the 20. Henry brings it back on the near side. A little bit of daylight here from Malik Henry. Got to get by the kicker, and he can't. Taken down at the 50. That is a huge tackle by Jake Ford as Malik Henry making his CFL debut and putting some people on notice with that return.
A nice job here by Henry reversing field to get to the wide side. Big credit to Jake Ford. Just stepping up to make that tackle on the 42-yard return.
Mitchell, 126 yards in the first half so far. Some pressure from behind. More now coming, and he's taken down at the 50. Tim Bonner getting home.
Well, I'll tell you what, Dustin, I had my reservations about this inexperienced BC Lions defensive front, particularly the defensive line coming into the season. They're getting some heat on Bo Levi Mitchell tonight.
Couple of rookies squatch him earlier. Bonner this time getting to Bo Levi Mitchell, who trails by 9.
Just fine. And Chezzy, I think Ambles has the nicest cleats I've ever seen.
Go Chiefs!
Take a look.
I have to get a look at these cleats.
Well, it's, you know, playing into the stereotype about women and shoes. Right?
I wear the same pair of shoes for every single game, so I had no say in this. They're comfortable, though. Here's Mitchell. 3 receivers to his left. Over the middle. That's picked off just inside the 30. Marcus Sales returns it to the 45 as Sales waiting with open arms as that ball came over the intended target right into his belly, and he's able to bring it back 10 or 15 yards in the return.
Yeah, and we're going to go back to the previous play, the sack by Bonner. Like Bo Levi Mitchell came up looking at, see him grabbing that right thumb. Maybe got jammed on the play, and then his very next throw gets away from him, overthrowing Josh Huff into the waiting arms of Marcus Sales.
Keep an eye on that thumb, Bo Levi Mitchell. Nice pickup in the truck there by the boys. Now here's Riley. That one complete. Shaq Johnson. Three-yard pickup.
Oh, Riley looking sharp.
Well, if you can use an iPad, you should be able to use the thumb, right?
The thumb's got to be okay.
2nd and 7 now here for Riley. And a great story so far here in the first half. Over 200 yards, 215 to be exact. Here's Riley again. He's done a good job so far getting away from pressure. Guns this one in there. Good zip on it. Too much, though. And it falls incomplete. He's looking for Dominic Grimes.
Well, this will bring out Jake Ford in the punt unit. Both teams doing a pretty good job with that pass rush, bringing the heat.
Ford stands on his own 34, set to punt this ball away. End over end and out of bounds on the 25. Bo Levi Mitchell keeping busy
Illegal
during
kick
the
out of bounds.
downtime.
BC
For more
number
on that,
17. The 10-yard penalty will be
Let's
enforced
send it
from
down
where the ball went
to
out
Claire
of bounds. And a first down, Calgary.
Well, every player did something a little different in the pandemic, and a lot of people coached at camps, including Bo Levi Mitchell and Kamar Jordan. Now, Kamar Jordan got involved because he actually wanted to see what happened in the community outside of the Stamps locker room. And he got a different perspective also as a coach, playing with some kids, getting that side of it. But for Bo Levi Mitchell, he works with a lot of quarterbacks, but he'd never been able to give them an example of Canadian quarterbacks. He says now, working with Michael O'Connor, working against Nathan Rourke, he can now use them as a mantra in the CFL game.
Off with the completion from Bo Levi Mitchell. There is a flag on the play, though. That'll be going against the BC defense. There's a shot at Rourke. Said he prepared all week this week.
Play. Holding BC number 29. That penalty's declined. The result of the game is greater. First down, Calgary.
Rourke this week prepared like he was going to start, and now Michael Riley is in here and obviously playing extremely well, but he's one of these Canadian kids we talked to him about a little bit earlier as well. Him and O'Connor on the other sideline, somebody for these young Canadian quarterbacks to look up to.
Yeah, kind of the flag bearers of the cause right now.
That's complete. Jordan Williams had a piece of him, a long piece of him, was able to stop him before he could get away.
Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up.
6-yard pickup there with 1:40 on the clock. Calgary wanting to come away here at the end of the half with some points. They trail 12-3. There's a flag. That was early movement by a receiver. This one's going to come back. It's incomplete anyway. Ambles has a jump at the line. And that's going to back Calgary up.
Side. Calgary, number 17. That penalty is declined. Third down.
I'll take the third down instead of the penalty. Rated the 51. And it looks like the Stamps are going to kick this thing away.
Keep an eye here on big defensive tackle. Ufamba Kamalu is the guy who gets the pressure this time. And again, you know, I've talked about this BC defensive front as inexperienced. I'm referring to Canadian Football League, a number of first-year Canadian Football League players, but guys who have been around the world of pro football.
Kamalu, 5 or 6 different stops in the National Football League. Rainey's going to watch this bounce. That takes a Calgary bounce for sure. Rated to 2 after a 49-yard kick. Just like the Stamps drew it up, eh?
Sir Rainey looked like he was about to do the walk-off, head for the sidelines and let that one roll through the end zone. But Cody Grace got a nice bounce.
Another first rounder in the global draft. Here's another good look at it. At least he was ready for it off the bounce.
Yeah, that's that "oh crap" moment as a returner.
"75 seconds to work here for Michael Riley. 218 yards in the first half. Almost 400 yards of passing offense last week for BC. That one to Johnson. And Johnson will pick up the first down, and Michael Riley gives his team a little bit of breathing room offensively here. 14-yard pickup.
Yeah, Shaq Johnson, a busy man here in the first half of this ball game.
Targeted 5 times, Johnson has his Riley empty backfield, swings it out to Butler. Butler cuts inside and then eventually is tracked down by Sankey with 58 seconds on the clock and a second down coming up with 8 yards needed.
And your key for BC, anytime you're backed up in your own end, you talk about most important thing being getting a couple of first downs. You may not go all the way down the field, but you got to get out of the shadow of your goalposts.
Timeout, Calgary.
And particularly a situation like this, end of the half, you don't want to give Calgary the ball back in a position to score points right before the break.
Stampeders have called a timeout. You're Calgary. You're coming off that loss last week. Bo Levi Mitchell has never started 0-2 in his career. And here you are, late at home, only 3 points on the board. What do you think's going through Dickinson's head right now, Dwayne?
Well, Dave Dickinson isn't a panic guy by any stretch, but I think you have to point again to the missed opportunities. You look at a turnover on downs when they get in scoring territory. That's the point where your concentration has to be at its peak, is when you've got an opportunity to put points on the board, and it hasn't been that way through the first game and a half for the Calgary Stampeders.
2nd and 8 for Riley. Lucky Whitehead to his left. Lamar Durant just short. It's gonna be close, it's gonna be very close. As he was pushed back after the catch, and they're gonna say it is a first down. Got 9, which was enough. And this BC offense will stay on the field with 52 seconds on the clock.
Going back to 2015, Durant, one of my favorite players in that draft class, really came into his own with BC last year.
Riley pressured again. A flag in behind him as he dumps it out to Butler, who is waiting on the far sideline, but this is going to be a hold. And that'll back the Lions up. Kent Perkins, guilty party. Rookie out of Texas.
Holding BC number 59. That penalty is declined. Second down.
They're going to decline it. Leave it at 2nd and 10 here for Riley. Done a great job tonight. You see him here again. One of the things that Riley has done very well, he's done it forever, but he's done it well tonight, and that's find additional time for himself to move that ball downfield.
Yeah, a guy who's always used his legs well, ability to extend plays or even scramble with that football to keep drives alive.
Dominique Grimes will swing in behind Riley. Riley underneath and nowhere to go there as he just dumped it off to Butler. Butler wrapped up immediately by Sean Lemon, who had a sack last week. Wraps up Butler there for a loss. And that will bring out the punt team for the Lions.
The veteran Sean Lemon, former Lion, former lot of things, but always productive as a pass rusher. Was slated to start the season on Calgary's practice roster, but a last-minute change to the lineup last week allowed him to get into the starting lineup. As you said, put up a sack, earns another start this week, and makes his presence felt.
After he was cut by Evans and signed quickly back on July 30th here to rejoin Calgary where he had been before, and that will do it as Riley takes the knee. That clock runs out, and the BC Lions and Michael Riley with a 12-3 lead after the first half here in Calgary. Let's send it back to Kate in the panel.
What a start for Michael Riley and the BC Lions.
Welcome back to Calgary, everyone, where the Stampeders are looking to avoid an 0-2 start at home. Let's go to Claire Hanna with their head coach.
Dave, you guys are down 12-3 at the half. What was the message to the team in the locker room?
We're trying to stay positive. It's tough when you're not playing good football, but we didn't win the line of scrimmage, and you can't win games when you don't win the line of scrimmage.
Following the game last week, Bo Levi said he had some regrets. How do you avoid that feeling right now?
Yeah, I'm not even worried about last week, so let's just figure out how to get some first downs and try to get in the end zone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's Dave Dickinson. He's 4-0 after losing a season opener. Right now, that perfect record in jeopardy. He talked about losing at the line of scrimmage, and obviously that's something that we talked about in the first half there, Dwayne, that BC, that new to us defense,
yes.
Those guys have done a really good job so far.
Yeah, they certainly have. And really seemed to pick up momentum as that first half went on. I don't know if it's a matter of confidence or just getting the Stampeders in some tough situations, but they had their ears pinned back.
Malik Henry at the 25. Malik Henry lost the ball, bouncing around. Flag is on the field. Who's at the bottom of this thing? BC Lions will maintain possession here. Sorry, Calgary, yes. Calgary will hang on to it after the return there from Henry.
During the return, holding, Calgary number 37, 10-yard penalty, and a first down.
Stripped out of the arm of Henry.
Yeah, Deshaun Davis, veteran linebacker, special teams demon, returning to BC after a stint in Saskatchewan.
First half, we talked a little bit about the two quarterbacks, obviously two legends in this league in the modern era here. Bo, 146 yards passing. Michael Riley, 231. So a significant advantage for Riley in that Lions offense. They do lead 12-3. And here's Bo Levi Mitchell. He'll hand it off to Carey. And Carey gets tied up but still managed to push ahead. And take a look at some of this pressure from this Lions defense.
As they got things going. Tim Bonner made his presence felt a couple of times. Obum-Boachum coming up with a sack. Sorry, Malu as well.
The Lions defense, when you go back to that comeback that came up just short against the Riders, they've only allowed 4 points in the last 4 quarters of play. So that Lions defense has really stepped up after getting torched in the first half last week against the Riders.
Yeah, and you can see how they got in that hole against Saskatchewan, spent a lot of time on the field in the first half of that football game, and it becomes tough. The legs start getting heavy, but you know, once they were able to get a break at halftime and start to create a few 2-and-outs, seemed like a group that's starting to find their way a little bit.
Chris Rainey has to back up inside his own 30 to take this high towering kick, a 59-yarder. Rainey trying to find some room up the middle, and eventually he's knocked down at the 40. And Michael Riley comes back out onto the field, 17 of 20 in the first half, Dwayne.
Yeah, and for Riley, who came into the season concerned about accuracy, battling an arm injury that was essentially affecting his ability to control his throws, control his velocity, his accuracy. But, you know, no issue with any of those things here.
He's looked good thus far. He's got a 9-point lead as he gets the ball for the first time here in the second half. Dustin Nielsen and Dwayne Ford with you. Riley, quickly, that's Rainey remaining in the game after the return. And a pretty good pickup on that quick hit to Rainey. He'll be involved a little bit here. Rainey had 1 carry for 15 yards in the first half as well. A little bit of sprinkle of Rainey here and there seems to be okay for this offense.
Well, he's, again, one of the fastest players in the league, so explosive. You know, you try to come up with plays like that where you get him the ball in a high percentage play in a little bit of space.
This time, Riley finds Whitehead, and Whitehead moves it down to the Calgary 50, so a nice start for this BC offense. Whitehead targeted 4 times in that first half, caught them all for 81 yards.
And Whitehead is a guy who, you know, obviously playing more snaps offensively. than Chris Rainey, but a guy who you put in that same sort of category. I mean, guys who have some credentials as kick returners, that you get them the ball near the line of scrimmage with a little bit of room to work and some blockers, and they're literally, with their speed, a threat to score from anywhere on the field.
Another carry there for Rainey, and Lucky Whitehead last week, absolute monster debut for the BC Lions.
Yeah, and this is what they were looking for. You remember one of the themes in 2019 for the BC Lions, they at that time were a team that started 3 Canadian receivers, only 2 American receivers. It was Deron Carter along with Brian Burnham in that receiving corps. And the feeling was that they needed to get a little bit more out of, especially their American receivers. They go out and get a Lucky Whitehead from Winnipeg, Dominique Grimes from Ottawa, and so far so good here in 21.
Grimes was a 1,000-yard guy for Ottawa in 2019. Speaking of 1,000-yard guys, there is Burnham, who had over 100 yards in the first half, and he'll take this one inside the 30 with 20 more.
Once again, good protection. Riley given time, and on the money to Burnham. You know, and Jim Barker made the point about the job done by Jordan Maximic, offensive coordinator for the BC Lions. Taking that a step further, we talked to Mike Riley this week about the fact that basically they're playing in a system that the two of them helped build together along with Jason Moss in Edmonton.
Feels very comfortable in it. This time they'll hand it off to Rainey again. A couple of yards on the pickup there for Rainey as the Lions creep towards the red zone. Riley did say at halftime, you know, they need to finish when they get there 1 for 3 in the red zone in the first half of the game. Trying to get a look at the OC Maximic. Here's Riley, 2nd and 8 from the 26. That's complete. And Durant close to a first down. His 3rd catch of the game. Gonna be a couple of yards, 1.5 yards shy here. But that offense isn't going anywhere. Another opportunity here for this Calgary defense to put the brakes on a BC drive. Whitehead and Burnham to the left of Riley. The only 2 options to the left of Riley. They'll hand it off to Rainey. Rainey pushing ahead. He's not going to get there. The Calgary defense with the denial on 3rd down. Raheem Wilson closes the door. Turnover on downs. Calgary with some life.
Calgary Stampeders find themselves hoping that what goes around comes around, as we saw it stand for a turnover on downs created by the BC defense in the first quarter that seemed to give their entire team a little bit of life and momentum. Stampeders here in the 3rd come up with a big 3rd down stuff on their own to take possession. We'll see where it leads them.
Bo Levi Mitchell looking to get going here with this offense. Just 3 points thus far in the football game. Look up near side. Mayala makes a man miss. Virgin Mayala will take it up to the 41. Nice job by Mayala there to create something. 21-yard pickup for Virgin Mayala.
And I like the sort of the poise, the presence of mind of Mayala. After the first tackler bounced off of him, the awareness here to sort of recognize, make that move to make the second guy miss. Terrific heads-up play for a first down by the 2nd-year receiver.
5 touchdowns as a rookie. Empty backfield here for Mitchell. That's his running back carry on the flat. Only a small gain, if anything, there. Just 1 yard. That'll bring up 2nd and 9 for the Stampeders.
Well, you keep an eye on these 2nd and long situations on that BC front. We've talked about them starting to generate some pressure. What would appear to be a passing situation. look for those guys to be coming aggressively.
That's the first catch of the game for Kadeem Carey, who stands in to the right of his quarterback. Mitchell. That is batted away. He was looking for Mayala, and good job getting a hand on it there by Bo Lacombo.
Bo Lacombo getting an opportunity to start at the will or weak side linebacker position with BC here in 2021. You know, and a guy who's always been just a tremendous football player, a starter in college at the University of Oregon, bounced around the National Football League for a time before coming to BC. Never really found his place until he got a bunch of reps playing safety in Montreal in 2019.
Now he has come back to BC after a year in Montreal. Lacombo back where it started for him, and a nice pass breakup there. His team's on top. Action hit critics call tremendously fun, and the best studio film of the year so far, Godzilla vs. Kong, streams Friday, August 20th, only on Crave. Are you a monster movie guy, Dwayne?
It's based on a true story, Dustin. Documentary.
You read the book. Haven't seen it. I think the last King Kong movie I saw had Jack Black in it for some reason. Just over 7 minutes remaining here in the third quarter. BC Lions on top, and they've got the ball. Riley, complete, flag back as he let that ball pops loose. And did the Lions slide in there and get it back? Moxie fighting for it right now. Looks like there's a couple of Stampeders in there.
Let's see, play action. Bart Riley, nice time to throw the football once again.
See what this flag is. Turnover here. Calgary will get the ball.
Holding BC number 51. That penalty's declined. The result of the play is a fumble recovered by Calgary. First down, Calgary.
The Stampeder defense coming up with a couple of turnovers here in the third quarter. This one gifting the offense pretty good field position.
Here's another look at it. Riley. Got it to Durant, and when he tried to turn, I think it was Mechie who knocked it out with his left hand. Let's watch Mechie strip with the right hand.
Little pull down there.
Durant almost got back on top of it, but that Calgary defense swarmed quickly, and now some field position for Bo Levi Mitchell. Milanovic, Litre in there next to him. Mitchell downfield, up for grabs, batted away into double coverage. He's looking for Sindani, and that was covered extremely well. Sales was there, and he got some help as well.
You know, so often on the heels of a turnover, offensively, you want to go right for the jugular, go for the big play. I think maybe the Stampeders got locked in a little too much on that mentality, trying to go deep on this one, as Sindani was well covered on that play.
Jalen Edwards-Cooper did not play last week. Draws in there and combined with Sales to break that up. 2nd and 10 for Bo Levi. Over the middle, and this is picked off at the 30. It's Lacombo, and he's gonna lunge ahead to the 45-yard line. 2nd interception of the game for Bo Levi Mitchell as he looks to avoid an 0 for 2 start. Lions defense, other ideas. Bo Lacombo all over this pass from Bo Levi Mitchell.
Yeah, and I mean, the pre-snap indication when you look at the depth that Lacombo has is that he's dropping. He's going to drop into coverage and get underneath the curl route. That's exactly what he does to get the turnover right back for his BC Lions.
Burnham and Whitehead slide in behind Riley. He'll drop that off. He'll hand it off to Butler, who's back in the game after Rainey got that last drive. And seems like whenever Calgary's had an opportunity to get some momentum, they have not been able to take advantage of it. And now here we are with BC back on offense in a 12-3 lead.
And Mike Riley looking to rediscover some of the magic he seemed to have in the first half of this ball game as well.
2nd and 6, complete. Rhymes first down to the 52. Tracked down by Jonathan Moxey. Mike Riley now over 300, 49th career 300 game for Michael Riley.
Is it just me, or do the arm problems of week 1 seem like a lifetime ago right now?
He's got 300 yards midway through the 3rd quarter. Whatever he did this week,
yeah,
do it again next week.
Keep doing that.
Yeah. Riley, a little bit of pressure, steps up inside, now throws it far out of bounds. As that pressure was coming, Shaq Johnson watches it sail over his head as Calgary that time forcing Riley to make some adjustments.
Yeah, good throwaway here from Riley to protect what he can of the field position. He knows the hit's coming, just launch it as far as you can and take your licks.
Mike Rose again. Rose has been a disturber along that defensive line. Had 1 tackle last week, more of an impact here this week, no doubt about it. 2nd and 10 for Riley. Working from the Calgary 53, the veteran quarterback over the middle, drops into the hands and out of the hands of Lamar Durant.
A tough couple minute stretch here for the former Calgary Stampeder Lamar Durant, with a fumble a few minutes ago and now the drop. Get to the sidelines and shake it off.
Riley, last week, even with the arm issue, still threw for 200 yards, 203 yards in the time that he was in the game. Now here he is, over 300. That kick just got away cleanly. Taken at the 12. Couple of spin moves. Decent effort from Malik Henry, but his team is, they get ready to take the ball back. Trail. A good look at a couple of young Canadian backups in Nathan Rourke and Michael O'Connor. For more on this unique situation, let's send it down to Claire Hanna.
Yeah, and Dustin, it's rare to see one Canadian quarterback on a CFL team, and tonight we see both Michael O'Connor and Nathan Rourke backing up their respective pivots. And they actually met when they were training in this offseason in Vancouver with Rob Williams. It was actually the first time that Nathan Rourke had ever trained with another quarterback in the CFL, and he said that O'Connor really set the benchmark of what to expect here in the CFL. And on the other side, Michael O'Connor actually decided, you know what, I want to make sure this guy's not shocked when he gets onto the field. So he taught him about some of the play verbiage, especially that he was coming out of college, and just taught him about the defensive coverage. But at the end of the day, they just said they were two quarterbacks training, trying to push each other to be better.
Two quarterbacks that a lot of people think have the ability in the future, maybe even, well, we saw Rourke, he was almost going to start this week, played last week. But two guys that have an impact on this league moving forward, Dwayne.
Yeah, and this has always been the thing, is it's becoming less and less of a rarity, right, to have Canadian quarterbacks. We have fairly consistently had guys who have been in the mix in recent years. You talked about Andrew Buckley, Brandon Bridge, now moving to Rourke and O'Connor. And a wave of guys, believe me, a wave of young guys coming behind them.
Mitchell, Mayala, and he'll get about 6-7 yards on that. We took a look at Rourke, and now a look at Michael O'Connor. A little bit of a different path for him, a 4-year guy at the University of British Columbia.
Yeah, and O'Connor is a guy who started his college career at Penn State, finished his high school career down south, and was very heavily recruited down there. Made the decision after a year of coaching change at Penn State. He joined Blake Nill and the UBC Thunderbirds. And, you know, you look at the background that Michael O'Connor had as a quarterback in terms of his technical skills, so on, the coaching he had received along the way. He steps in as a first-year quarterback and leads the UBC Thunderbirds to a Vanier Cup.
I was calling university games when he came in, and people all around Canada West were like, wait till you see this Michael O'Connor. Like, Blake Neal's done it again here with a quarterback. And, I mean, as advertised, Vanier as a freshman, I mean, very impressive.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a lot of fun for me, obviously, with an interest in amateur football, grassroots football, to follow the journeys of both of these guys. And I remember, you know, getting phone calls and emails from contacts about both of these guys when they were still in high school.
Milanovic-Litre with the carry as the Calgary Stampeders starting to move the ball offensively here on this drive.
Nice to see them relying on that ground game. You've got a game, you know, so often teams will get behind and there's that desire to throw the football and try to get it back all at once, so to speak. But the fact is, it's a 9-point game. There's lots of time left. You've had some success on the ground. There's no reason to abandon the ground game and panic.
5 carries last week for Milanovic-Litre, and he's got another one here, and it's a good one. They'll take it down inside the 50, 25 yards on those 5 carries last week.
This will take some of the starch out of the pass rushing legs of that defensive line that's been such a nightmare for Calgary.
18 yards on these 2 touches from Milanovic-Litre. Now he's gonna come off the field for a quick breather. Kadeem Carey will slide back in there. And it's 1st and 10 for Mitchell and the Stamps from the BC 48.
Oh, my bad, sorry, man.
All 4 targets to the right here. They'll hand it off to Carey. A yard on that first down, bring up 2nd and long. There's 30 seconds remaining here in the 3rd quarter, and Calgary still just 3 points on the board.
There's Kamalu very active on the interior of that BC defensive line. Stepping up to make the play on that one.
Bo Levi Mitchell, 167 yards, 2 interceptions so far here on this Thursday evening of football. Passing situation here for Mitchell. Finds Carey, lunges ahead, needed the 38, got to the 40. They're going to be just shy of a 1st down. Trying to set up that screen for the running back there. Calgary still looking for offense as they trail 12-3. BC Lions putting together a pretty good road game here at McMahon Stadium. The BC Lions on top against the Calgary Stampeders. 300 yards passing already for Michael Riley and 3 turnovers for the Calgary Stampeders. 2 interceptions for Bo Levi Mitchell. You don't say that very often, do you, Dwayne?
No, unfamiliar territory for Mitchell, a guy who we looked at the numbers before this game for him head-to-head against the BC Lions, and that was one of the things that stood out, was that touchdown to interception ratio, something like 20-6 up to this point in his career. But BC Lions getting some pressure on Mitchell in this football game, leading to some rush throws and thus the interceptions.
Paredes will attempt a field goal to start this 4th quarter. It would cut the lead to 6. It's a 48-yarder. He's 5 for 5 on the season. Paredes from 48. It's enough, and it is good. Paredes 2 for 2. Then all of the offense that Calgary has been able to muster as the crowd tries to get behind their team.
Well, thank goodness for Rene Paredes for the Calgary Stampeders so far in 2021.
MLS on TSN continues tomorrow with the showdown between the Caps and San Jose. Coverage gets underway at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific on TSN. 12-6 as we settle in here. Week 2 on the Canadian Football League schedule underway. Both of these teams looking for the win column for the first time. Here's Whitehead taking that handoff from Riley. That Calgary defense swarming towards him. He does a good job. Looks like he's got that first down. Nice work there from Lucky Whitehead.
Well, we talked about these guys with the kick return skills, right? Find a way to get the ball into their hands and let them go to work. One of the things that I liked on this play was Brian Burnham, as right here, as Whitehead goes to get around the corner. Burnham has a chance to block his man, but realizes, hey, we got a chance for a positive play. I don't want to take a clipping penalty here, a block in the back, so I'm going to let him go. Good decision by a veteran player.
Veteran move there. Here's another veteran. Riley throws it, and Burnham got turned around right before that ball came in. Royce Mitchie says, I didn't do it, but he got caught there. There's no doubt about it. That ball wasn't even close to Burnham when he turned him around. That's going to be a big hit for that Calgary defense.
Defensive pass interference. Calgary number 8. Point of foul. Automatic first down. What?
Yeah.
Correction, it was number 16. First down at the 40.
Riley knew it right away. Burnham was pointing before he even stopped running. And Mechie was laying on his back with his hands up. But it's a 1st and 10 from the Calgary 43 for the Lions. Riley gives it to Rainey. Rainey, a good push here. Rainey staying on his feet. What an effort from Chris Rainey. Takes it down to the Calgary 26. When given the opportunity on the ground here in this ball game, he has contributed that one 17 yards.
Yeah, Rainey getting lots of touches here. I know James Butler had been a little bit nicked up while starting running back, but Chris Rainey making the most of this opportunity for sure, Dustin.
It's as though we've got a Lion down on the field. Oh, and it is Rainey. He'd gotten up after the play and started to walk back, but now he's down on his back and appears to be in some pain. Chris Rainey becoming a big part of this offense thus far here tonight. Try to get an update when we return.
Take a look at what happened to Chris Rainey at the end of that play. Possible that he may have whacked his head on the field a little bit on the way down. Tough to say, but we'll try to get an update there.
He did walk off on his own. Butler back into the ball game, and Butler staying on his feet here a little longer than expected. Pushed it up close towards the 20 before he was forced back. There's Rainey, still being tended to. 5 carries, 36 yards for Rainey tonight. 2nd and 6 for Michael Riley right now. 12-6 the lead, was 12-3 for the longest time. Paredes cut into that last possession for Calgary. Burnham came in behind Riley. There is a flag on the field. Riley still got it. And Riley will go down at the 10 as he tried to pick his way up the field.
Yeah, my initial thought was that the defense moved a little early here with the motion that was going on amongst the BC receivers.
Waiting for the call. We'll get another look at it here, Dwayne.
Yeah, right in the
There's
bottom.
2 infractions on the play. Offside on the offense, the wide receiver. Offside on the defense. The play will be replayed.
We'll do it again.
All right.
2nd and 6 is where we're at and where we will be with just over 12 minutes remaining here. Rick Campbell, like we mentioned, the end of last regular season had that losing streak in Ottawa and then dropped his first one here with the Lions. Love a victory on the road here tonight. Riley now. Decent amount of time for Riley. Can't find anybody. Hit from behind. That ball ended up popping into the arms of Figueroa. Blown down. That's great pressure there. Seemed like Riley had time, and then finally just had to wait too long. And was it Rhodes that came around and got him again?
Yeah, the dam eventually broke here, but keep an eye on Mike Rose. You know, who's a guy who athletically is just a handful for so many offensive linemen once he gets in a little bit of space.
Kiro Yamasaka back out here to give his team a 9-point lead. 3 for 6 on the year, 1 for 2 tonight. And that one is through the uprights. And the Lions regain their 9-point cushion, 15-6 in the 4th quarter in Calgary.
Your mission, stand up to moderate.
What do all these defensive backs have in common? Royce Metchie of the Stampeders, Akeem Johnson, O'Shane Samuels, all played at the same high school, St. Edmund Campion Secondary School in Brampton, Ontario. And making this even crazier, those are just 3 of the 5 Canadian Football League defensive backs who came from the same high school. Mike Edom and Godfrey Onyeka being the other 2.
Here's Mitchell, and that is in behind a sliding Josh Huff on 1st down. Quite the story, though. I mean, 5 guys defensively from the same high school program.
Yeah, I mean, there are high schools around this country that produce lots of players for the Canadian Football League, but to have 5 defensive backs in a league that doesn't have a lot of Canadian defensive backs.
A little bit of a factory there. Now 2nd and 10 for this Calgary offense that has just 1 touchdown on the season, and we're in the 4th quarter of game 2. Things you didn't think would happen. Mitchell, this time, completes, flying through the air to bring it down. He goes right back to Josh Huff. This time he got it up to him. 19-yard pickup for Mitchell.
Keep an eye here on Josh Huff, working towards that post.
Tavai wrapping up Kadeem Carey there, and will take us back to that last catch here by Josh Huff. It's his 2nd of the game. Targeted 6 times, able to bring in a couple of them.
Yeah, I haven't seen Huff used as much in the short game as I thought he was very effectively against Toronto.
Just get it in his hands and see what he can do.
Caught a couple of crossing routes underneath. They got him involved with the shovel pass a couple of times as well.
2nd and 9 in midfield for the Stampeders. Mitchell over the middle again. That is complete. A ton of room that time to Kamar Jordan. And Jordan will take it down inside the 25. A 27-yard pickup for Kamar Jordan. 3rd catch of the game.
There's Jordan, number 3 receiver, right on the hash mark. This is the guy they look to for the big play. Great move to turn the defender inside out.
Excellent move there on Chaffee. Opened himself up. Mitchell found him no problem that time.
And
now
that is
Chaffee is down on the field.
KJ at his best. Big, fast, athletic, physical, and back to 100%.
Which is big for him considering how much time he missed to come back last week, have the touchdown, should have had 2. And now here with a big moment in this football game to make a move like that, open himself up for Bo Levi Mitchell.
You think back to 2018, he was approaching 1,000 yards by Labor Day when he got hurt, very serious knee injury that at the time people weren't sure if he was going to be able to come back at all.
All right, let's hear what Kamar Jordan had to say about missing that time, but being back now and feeling good.
Definitely missed some crucial years, you know what I mean? But I feel like at this point right now, I'm just listening to my body and just trying to play as well as I can. Right now, I feel just as good as I felt when I was 28, 27, 26, to be honest. So as long as I'm still able to do it and I feel like I could continue playing this game at a high level, I'm gonna keep doing that.
He's the veteran in this group. There's an offside. I think it was against Jordan as they get it to Milanovic-Litre, but that was Jordan, wasn't it?
I believe so. Getting close to the end zone, and he got a little excited there.
Offside. Calgary number 88. A 5-yard penalty. We're going to replay first down.
We'll back it up from the 19-18 to the 23 here. Here's a look at what Jordan was able to do in that abbreviated 18 season prior to his injury.
Yeah, you sort of combine that with the back half of 2017, first half of 2018. I mean, Kamar Jordan had really established himself as one of the most dangerous receivers in the Canadian Football League.
1st and 15 on the 29 for Mitchell. Milanovic-Litre cuts back inside. It's going to take a couple of Lions to haul him down as he gets that ball up to the 20 as the Calgary Stampeders desperately in search of some points here. Just over 8 minutes on the clock. Milanovic-Litre remains in the game to the left of Bo Levi Mitchell. Mitchell, 235 yards on the evening. Offsides again against the Stampeders.
Offside. Calgary number 89. A 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
All right, who had this on their bet card tonight? Rabbit on the field. Rabbit all over the field. Where's Claire Hanna?
Photobomb.
That's a great shot. Maybe that's why Jordan was offside. 2nd and 11 from the 24 for Mitchell. They're onside this time. Mitchell steps up in the pocket. Looks to the end zone. Ayala picked off! A beautiful interception. Keontae Harden slides underneath. Lions defense coming up big again. Bo Levi looking for Mayala, thought he had him, but it was taken away by Harden. Swoops in underneath, leaping interception, and the Lions D does it again.
A big play for the rookie Harden with his first career CFL interception. Athletic play, but keep an eye here on the decision made by Bo Levi Mitchell. I think if he had this one over again, take a look in front of him. Maybe an opportunity to run here. Really only one BC defender in all of that space on the field. Chance to run for the first down and live to fight another down, take a shot at the end zone instead of trying to force it in there.
So BC finds themselves on the 25. They'll give it to Butler. Butler will get it close to the 30, and we'll get another look at this fantastic play by Harden.
Keontae Harden, rookie out of Pittsburgh State.
Last week, he had 5 tackles. Ran all-state track in high school. Here's Riley now, 2nd and 5. 2 flags as that ball lands in the arms of Lamar Durant. 2 flags came out simultaneously right behind Michael Riley.
Holding BC number 51, a 10-yard penalty. We're going to replay 2nd down.
So it'll be 2nd and 15 now as center gets pegged there.
You know, just going back to that Harden interception, I had to double check my notes. Pittsburgh State, pretty good ball hawk. Former CFLer Jeff Tisdale, another DB out of Pittsburgh State.
Pretty spectacular for your first interception in the Canadian Football League. And a big one too. I mean, it was a great play, but a big one in this football game. Here's Riley, 2nd and 15. Butler, his running back, out of the backfield, gets to him for about 10 on the play. Butler gets up, he's fired up, and a flag.
Yeah, that's gonna cost him. Darnell Sankey in with the big hit. Butler reacted to it, which drew the flag.
8 tackles for Sankey. He's been all over the place tonight for this Calgary defense.
After the play was over, major foul, unnecessary roughness. BC number 24 for Ed Butt.
Yeah.
We're going to move half the distance to the goal, and it will be 3rd down.
Not a smart play there by the rookie running back. Right in the face of Sankey. You see Leonard right there. It's like, got to be flagged. No choice on that play. Jake Ford from his 5 when he finally lets it go. Great field position coming up here for the Stamps. 44-yard kick. Trying to find some room on the outside. Malik Henry. Henry now down to the 40. Henry down the sideline to the 30 before he's finally pushed out of bounds. And a pretty impressive return evening for Malik Henry. 30 yards on this one. And all of a sudden, Bo Levi Mitchell and the Stamps are in a pretty good position.
Malik Henry has looked good in the return game for Calgary here tonight. Here you get a feel for his speed. Watch him outrun the angle on Deshaun Davis. Jordan Williams, receiver versus linebackers.
One of the biggest plays of the game for Calgary so far here tonight. Need another big one with just over 5 minutes on the clock. Mitchell. That's deflected. He was looking over top of Williams. Williams wouldn't have it, got a hand on it, and it'll be 2nd and 10 for the Calgary quarterback who's thrown 3 interceptions here tonight.
Well, remember the Calgary Stampeders held that 1st overall pick in the 2020 draft, made a draft day deal with BC to send that #1 pick west. And they used that pick to select Jordan Williams, who just deflected that ball away.
Mitchell was looking for Jordan there. This time he'll take what that defense gives him, and they'll try to move it ahead. Be short about 3 yards here of a 1st down, and that'll bring up 3rd down for the Stampeders.
I mean, 9-point game. The field goal has value here.
I'm not sure they're going to take it, though. 3rd and a long 2, and this Calgary offense will stay on the field. Mitchell needing a 1st down here, just over 4 to play. Down by 9, takes the snap cleanly, has some time, finds Carey. That will be a 1st down, and the offense will stay on the field as he finds Kadeem Carey for more than enough.
It looked simple. See Kadeem Carey starting off in the backfield here. He's just going to leak out. It looks simple, but this is a tough catch. Ball's coming up high with some heat from a short distance away.
A little bit of zip on that one for sure. Good job hauling it in.
The old ice cream cone catch there. Just had the tip of the ball.
Milanovic-Litre now in and to the right of Mitchell. Tried to go underneath to Markeith Ambles, and that was batted down, and will bring up 2nd and 10 here for Calgary as the clock ticks down towards 3.5.
Yeah, things happen just a little too quickly on that play. You've got the free-release flat route from the running back, Milanovic-Litre, and you're hoping to sort of pull people in that direction. You get the quarterback looking in that direction, get everybody following, and then pitch almost like a shovel coming inside to Ambles, but they didn't really wait long enough for that window to open up underneath.
2nd and 10 for Mitchell. 3 receivers to his left. Looks to his left originally, comes over the top. Milanovic-Litre's got it. And once again, they will find themselves in a 3rd and 2 or 3 situation here. This one might be as much as 4. Now it looks as though they will accept their fate here and take the 3 points with 3 minutes left on the clock.
Yeah, I mean, this is interesting to me when you look at the way that things played out, right? They had a chance to kick a field goal well within the range of Paredes.
Paredes on the clock when we return, his team down 15-6.
Your mission. Stand up to moderate.
TSN coverage continues tomorrow with Friday Night Football presented by The Brick, featuring the Argos taking on the Blue Bombers. Catch the action at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, only on TSN. We are off and running week 2 here tonight. Paredes has been all the offense, but the Stamps have been able to muster so far. He's 2 for 2. This one, straight away from 20 for Paredes. No doubt about it. And Calgary settles for another field goal. They are now 1 for 8 in the red zone in the first 2 games of the year. 1 for 8 with a veteran quarterback like Bo Levi Mitchell, who's thrown 3 interceptions and on the year has a touchdown and 4 picks.
Yeah, and you look at the struggles when they get into that scoring area, and some of the mistakes they've made, whether it's been penalties, whether it's been turnovers, but relatively glaring malfunctions for the Calgary offense with points on the line.
The situation they find themselves in here, though, is an interesting one because you get a stop by your defense and you're still right in this ball game.
Yeah.
They just need a big play rather quickly, they would prefer, by their defense, which has made some plays tonight.
Yeah, you just may find yourself wishing that you had that 1.5 minutes back between the first 3rd down where you could have kicked and the second 3rd down where they did kick.
Bo Levi Mitchell has never started 0-2 in his career. And he'll need to get the ball back one more time to try to keep it that way. 2:47 on the clock. Dustin Nielsen, Dwayne Ford, bringing you home here on a Thursday night. This is Rainey. Rainey found a couple of blockers, followed him up to the 36. And that is where Riley, who started, remained healthy all night and put together a pretty good game. 80% of his passes have been completed for 311 yards.
Yeah, solid outing from Michael Riley. He looks to add to those stats a little bit, but most importantly, he looks to eat up that clock.
Riley, huge first half. A little bit quieter here in the second, but his team has had the lead the entire way. They'll get it to Whitehead. Lucky Whitehead swings it around the end, up to the 50, stays in bounds. And a nice play by Lucky Whitehead to pick up the first down as they begin this drive.
Yeah, good awareness of the situation, right? It's not just about the skills to execute the play, but to remain aware of what the situation is. You want that clock running. you know, the stats are nice, but I'm not going to run another yard and risk getting pushed out of bounds.
Whitehead now over 100 yards, joining Brian Burnham in that category. They came into the league 1st and 5th in receiving after week 1. Here's Riley. That one will be complete for a big gain as he gets it to Lamar Durant. And Durant takes it down inside the Calgary 45. So the BC Lions not looking to hang on. They're looking to seal this thing away with just over 2 minutes remaining and a pickup of 16 to Durant.
Yeah, nice bounce back play there for Lamar Durant. Had a fumble and a drop in rapid succession earlier in this ball game, but Mike Riley goes to him at a critical time and Durant delivers.
One possession game, less than 2 minutes to play at McMahon. This time they'll hand it off. And that one moved ahead by Chris Rainey. Another nice pickup on first down for Rainey. That'll put him over 40 yards on the ground tonight.
Timeout, Calgary.
Calgary Stampeders will call a timeout. Brent Munson, defensive coordinator. Really good staff here that Dickinson has. A lot of experienced guys have been with him here for a little while.
Yeah, no question. Remember, Brett moved into that role a couple years back when Devon Claybrooks left to take the BC head coaching job.
That head coaching job, of course, now belonging to Rick Campbell, as he's possibly less than 2 minutes away from his first win with the BC Lions. That's Burnham, who will come in front of his quarterback and off to the left. Riley, a little bit of pressure this time for Riley. Escapes it and hammers it down into the feet of David Mackey to avoid taking the sack.
Yeah, and it's not surprising that you see that from Michael Riley, the throwaway to preserve field position, etc. But, you know, you see that on the heels of the Lucky Whitehead play. Just, again, the awareness of the situation, the way this team has been coached to play the game. Sacrificing personal stats, etc. for what's best for the team.
Takiro Yamasaki. 43, this would tie his season high. A huge hit here for Yamasaki, and he misses it left. This will be brought, oh my goodness.
So,
he take it to the 1?
Would you rather be down 7 with the ball on your 35? Or down 6 with the ball on your 1?
I'll put my hand up here. I'd rather be down 7 on the 35.
And contrast the difference in concentration and understanding situation.
First game in the Canadian Football League from Malik Henry as well.
Yeah.
I have to go 109 yards here after the miss. 2 for 4 now for Yamasaki after 2 and 4 last week as well. Looked like he thought about putting on the brakes, but realized it wasn't going to happen.
Like he wasn't sure what to do, and this is where it's so important, right, as a coaching staff to understand that this is a guy playing his first Canadian Football League game. Make sure he understands.
The field is confirmed. The ball carrier went out of the end zone.
84 seconds to work with for Bo Levi Mitchell. It's an offense that hasn't been able to do much here tonight. They'll need the entire field now in just over a minute. Mitchell, he's going to look for a big chunk of that right now. That is picked off in the 40. What a play. My goodness, Jalen Edwards Cooper. How's that for a debut in the Canadian Football League?
Well, expect this to be reviewed, though, initiated by the command center. because there was contact with the receiver.
There's our second look at it.
See, and the hands-on, I think, are what's going to get him in trouble here.
This will have to be challenged by a coach.
Yeah, correction.
Did like he had his hand on his back there before that ball arrived. And it does not look like this will be challenged. They challenged earlier in the game and they got it right, so they still. Is there no timeouts left, so unable to challenge that, which has got to be frustrating there for Dickinson. Let's get another look at that interception as we explain that they could not challenge it without a timeout. First time in the career of Bo Levi Mitchell that he has thrown 4 interceptions in a game. Great play by Edwards. Cooper knocks it up kind of to himself as he's falling.
Well, the 2 rookies playing on that side made plays on that side of the field.
We talked about a number of members of this defense up front, some of the rookies making plays in the first half, and here in the second half, Harden and Edwards Cooper, first-year guys, new faces to the Canadian Football League, making big plays, and now you're just sitting in a situation where this BC defense has hasn't allowed a touchdown in their last 6 quarters of football.
Yeah, they had a rocky start to the season, right? A rocky opening 30, but they've been terrific.
Timer.
In 90 minutes of football since then.
Please reset the game clock to 52 seconds. 52.
Tack a couple of extra seconds on there. As mentioned it earlier in the broadcast, Dave Dickinson, after losing openers, was 4-0 in the second game. Bo Levi Mitchell has never started a year 0-2. Unique territory here for the Calgary Stampeders. Uncharted waters. Handed off by Riley.
The rarity of this group's starting 0-2 with the first 2 games of the season at home.
It's been a decade since they started 0-2. And now it's less than 40 seconds away from becoming a reality here. 3rd and 6. Riley remains on the field. They'll give it to Butler. Butler stops at the 36.
One last gasp.
24 seconds for Bo Levi Mitchell, who has now thrown 4 interceptions. Here's a look at him.
Remember, we talked about maybe wanting that minute and a half back before the last Calgary field goal.
Certainly use some more time right now. Bo Levi Mitchell needing some magic here. Down by 6 with just over 20 seconds left. Milanovic Litre, he'll hustle ahead, takes it out just inside the Calgary 50 with 18 seconds on the clock.
Well, regardless of what's happened up to this point with 4 interceptions, you still want the ball in Bo Levi Mitchell's hands. He always gives you a chance.
2nd and inches, doesn't matter right now. Mitchell closing in on 300 yards, but hasn't been enough tonight. Now he wants to take a shot, needs to take a shot, and that one incomplete to Henry. First time tonight that they targeted their kick returner. 12 seconds and third down. The situation now for the home side at McMahon. Calgary offense looking for answers all night. They're in miracle territory right here from just outside the 45. He's going to dump it off. Milanovic-Litre will get it out of bounds at the Calgary 54, and they'll get to midfield for a shot here with 6 seconds on the clock.
Oh, it has to be the final play for the Calgary Stampeders, needing the end zone here.
Eric Campbell 6 seconds away from a victory with the BC Lions. It'll be his first. Mitchell. Ambles. And Ambles does get out of bounds with a second left. They have slowly picked their way down to the field with limited time to work with, and now we'll have a shot as this BC defense backs up. Bo Levi Mitchell needs the end zone here. BC Lions defense has made a number of impressive plays, big plays in this game. They need one more right here. Mitchell from the 46 of the Lions. There's a flag moved. And this play will be blown down. BC?
It looked to me like BC moved.
Get the call here.
Procedure.
Oh.
Calgary number 61. 5-yard penalty. It remains first down.
Procedure. Cambry Williams, 11th penalty of this game for Calgary. Same strategy here now. This time, though, they're on the BC 51 for Mitchell. Mayala, hop up to the right for Bo. He's in trouble, escapes. He's going to take a crack to the end zone, up for grabs! Hanging there, batted away! And the BC Lions defense does the job one more time against Bo Levi Mitchell. And the Lions are going to come in and pick up a 15-9 win over the Calgary Stampeders.
A great first half from Michael Riley, but I think the story in this game became the BC Lions defense. Stepping up, a lot of pressure on Bo Levi Mitchell, ultimately end up with 4 interceptions of the Calgary Stampeder quarterback. Calgary's struggles to find the end zone continue. Great moment between those two veterans.
That's the 5th time that Michael Riley has beaten Bo Levi Mitchell. First time for Michael Riley. The other 4 were as Mike, but Michael got it done here tonight. A week where he was limited in practice all week. He came out and he balled out tonight. 342 yards for Michael Riley, 26 of 33. Bo Levi Mitchell, a different story entirely on the other side of the ball. First time in his career, he throws 4 interceptions as week 2 is now underway in the Canadian Football League. Thank you very much for joining us here in Calgary tonight. For Dwayne Ford, I'm Dustin Nielsen. Let's send it to Sports Center with Jay Andre.
The Wyndham